Hello, Mrs. Tina. How are you? It's good to see you.
How are you?
Very
Welcome.
well. Thank you so much. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Happy life.
Yes. Happy everything, everyone. We are also on Facebook Live, Mr. Woodson. So I'm
It's
looking
great.
forward to having our channel expand and have them come over to the YouTube as well. So,
We have
how
to
have
check it
you been
out.
faring?
I've been doing very well this week. I've just been taking care of myself, sleeping a lot, staying positive, trying not to watch too much news because that can be very depressing when you hear about, what's happening outside, but just trying to just stay in a positive mental state of mind. And what about you, Mrs. Tina? What have you been up
Yes.
to?
Well, I have been doing the same things that we
Mhm.
all are trying to do to stay at peace, to stay aware, to stay self centered and in prayer because you have to center yourself. You have to have a complete daily schedule of meditation and prayer, affirmation. You have to eat
Mhm.
well, as you know, those things are very
Yes.
important. Your dietary is important, especially keeping up your immune system now. So we are all making sure that we are eating more appropriately during these
Yes,
times.
we are. And taking our vitamins. I've been taking the vitamin D that you told me about for your immunity. It's been helping. I feel much, much better, and I'm going to continue to take it on a daily basis. The vitamin D is very important, you all.
Yes,
Go and get it.
yes, absolutely. So I love this leopard extravaganza.
Thank you, Miss Tina. I wanted to find something that was a little bit different, a little bit of animal print.
Oh, yes,
Uh,
honey.
you know,
Well, you could wear it, honey. You could definitely wear it. Yes.
I know
Oh,
you like
my goodness.
feathers and animal prints and peacocks
Yes.
and everything that looks
Wow.
like nature.
Yes.
Yes, natural. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes.
you,
And you
and I
know
love
what?
what
You
you're
need to.
wearing.
Yeah,
I love
oh,
it
yes,
too.
honey. This is a vintage um Coco Chanel brooch that I had from the
Oh,
90s.
okay.
So it's also, about you mixing and matching and doing
Yeah.
things with the old and the new. But I believe there's no such thing as old and new. It's just about
No.
reinvention and evolution.
Well, you look amazing. I love the silver robe that you have, or kimono. It looks very, very beautiful up against the gold.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you. Well, honey, I'm always watching.
yes, the sunglasses.
Yes, the sunglasses, the shade.
The
Yes,
shade, the
the
shade.
shade, the silver shade. Yes.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I have so much that I want to talk about today.
I know there's been a lot happening this week. A lot. But why don't you go
Absolutely.
first? So
Absolutely. A
much.
lot of things have been happening. So
Mhm.
here's one of my things for the week. I
Mm.
believe that we all are responsible with these things called the mask.
The mask.
No matter if you're uncomfortable in it, you don't like how it feels, you don't like how it matches your outfit, and now they have ones that match your outfits, and
Mhm.
you can accessorize a mask. Where I'm
Yes.
going to is that it is an important responsibility that you have to society, let alone yourself, to put your mask on. So
Mm.
this week I've been observing people back out and about just not putting their mask on,
Mm.
just
It's very
walking about
selfish.
like, okay, I'm fine. This thing is kind of uncomfortable for me. It's an inconvenience. I've been watching people on my block walk back and forth. People's children ride bikes. They have no mask on their children. They have no mask on themselves. I've been watching people just smoking cigarettes, pulling down the mask and wearing it around their neck.
I've seen it
So
too.
I don't know. What is your feedback on that?
You're right. It's not always comfortable to wear it, but this is something that we have to do. And I find it to be very selfish when people decide to go about their daily lives without protecting others that may be vulnerable to getting sick and catching COVID-19. I see a lot of people as well, Miss Tina. I see them out in the streets, young people without the mask or smoking or not observing the social distancing. And I just find it to be extremely, extremely selfish and just careless. I was watching on TV a nurse who was very fatigued and just frustrated at the fact that she sees all these patients coming into the hospital on a daily basis, but then she walks outside and sees people just not observing the social distance, not wearing the mask. And it's like, these people need to stop for a second and think about, what am I doing? How does my actions affect my neighbor, affect that nurse that's in that ER room, affect everyone around me? And I think people are just not observing it. They're like, it's hot outside. I want to go outside and just have a good time and look good doing it.
I think I agree with you. I think that people are not just being neglecting the observing of the observance of putting the mask on. I think that they have observed it. I think that people are very aware. I think that people are choosing to make a statement. They are mixing having liberation and social and world responsibility. So what I'm saying is that liberation does not equate to being selfish. So I think that a lot of people are misconceiving what liberation really means. Liberation is not about your own self-identity. It's about, I get it. We should all have the choice to make decisions that are healthy for our lives and those around us. So that's what liberation means to me, is that you have the responsibility to protect your freedom. But when you are also jeopardizing the health and the freedoms of other people, because when you don't put your mask on, what you're actually doing is you're saying, I'm fine, but you not being fine is really not my problem. So within that, I don't find liberation in that. I don't think that's liberation. That's not my definition of liberation. It's just that as long as I'm okay and I get to make choices that are acceptable for my life, I don't need to worry about you. I just think that that's the wrong definition of liberation, and especially in our society. We have conflux liberty, liberation, and freedom to mean so many things that it has just become discombobulated in the minds, especially of our youth, that that's not liberty.
Yes. And I also think that some people, believe it or not, think that this whole COVID-19 is a conspiracy. Like, they don't believe that people are getting sick. They don't believe that people are dying. And so it's just like a blatant like rebellion. I'm not going to wear it. I'm going to show you that you don't have control over my life, and I'm going to do what I want to do. So you're completely right with people misconstruing liberation and freedom and what all that means.
Absolutely. And we have some comments up here that are, yes, we have Joyce. She's saying exactly, it's not about liberation. It's about protecting yourself and others. Absolutely. I believe liberation is also having that social responsibility. And now it's a universal responsibility.
It is.
To not only protect your freedoms, you have to protect other people's well-being. I think that comes first. That's like if a mom or a parent is saying, you know what, I'm going to make sure my children eat before I eat.
Yes, the sacrifices that we all have to make.
Right. And in that, she's making sure her household is taken care of and her kids are fed and that their health is intact, because she's the provider, but she wants to also make sure that her kids that are her legacy or her seed continue to progress if something happens to her. Because if you don't take care of the seed, then the rest of her, if she just feeds herself and her kids should perish, then her seed is gone. So what I'm saying is that you can't just think about, I'm 30 or I'm 20 something and I'm not going to go anywhere. And you're not thinking about, okay, what about the kids that are going to be affected? What about your family members that you don't know about? What about your friends? What about the people in the hospital that you are affecting? Nurses. And to speak about nurses, I really want to touch on that. Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm glad you're joining us up here. We are happy to see you again on Beauty in the Spirit. And we are talking about how we have a responsibility within our liberty to protect the lives and the safety of other people. So I also have observed that there are nurses and there are people who I know work in a health industry. And I put together that, okay, in the hospitals or in their occupation, they're helping us save many lives. You have many good nurses and doctors. And as you know, 7 o'clock every day in the city and around the world and other places, we have saluted them and we continue to salute them.
Yes.
But I do believe that a lot of the nurses that I've been looking at where I live, they come home and they are not wearing their masks. They also have
Mhm.
people who are in their households that are not wearing masks. And the people
Wow.
also in their households are having many different people that they play with, their children. They're going into other people's household, doing fixing up, walls. They're painting. Whether if they're a handyman, they're in somebody else's house fixing up without a mask and
Mm.
touching poles, touching handrails. So if you are a healthcare worker and you are letting these things go on in your household outside of the hospital, I feel that you're also neglecting people's health. Because a lot of times you're going back and you're putting on that facade wearing a mask at home, at the job, but really when you go home in your own livelihood, you're not practicing that. So I find that to be a very disturbing contradiction for some of our healthcare professionals.
Yes, we all have to do our part, no matter who you are, where you work. We all, this is like they said, the new normal. We all have to wear our masks, whether it's at work, whether it's at home. We have to protect people because we don't know what people do when they go back home to their private bedrooms and when they go back home to their private living rooms. So we have to make sure that we're wearing the mask at all time. And you're right, it is uncomfortable. I went grocery shopping the other day and I was sweating and I could hardly breathe through the mask, but I had to calm down and just say, hey, take slow, deep breaths. You're going to be fine, and just breathe. And I was fine. I mean, of course, when I got home, it's the whole thing. You take the mask off, you want to shower, you want to make sure that everything's disinfected. But that's what we have to do. Those are precautions we have to take right now. So, yeah, everyone should be wearing the mask, no matter where you work. And especially if you're a nurse, you should be wearing a mask. Yes.
Yes. And it's like us, we're going over the world leaders and we're getting on people who have leadership positions and saying, well, if they're not doing it, who are we to follow them if they're our leaders and they can't represent correctly? But you know what? It's that old saying is that don't look at the dog that's leaping, look at the leap.
Hmm.
So basically, that a dog is doing something. That doesn't mean that you should do it. You should see what the action is. Check yourself before you say, okay, oh, look at that dog leaping. Wait a minute. Why is the dog leaping? The
Hmm.
dog is leaping. You need to say, what is he running away from? What is he going towards so that you can protect yourself? So it's sort of like also looking at that needle in somebody else's eye and not looking at the haystack in your own.
Hmm.
It's like you have stuff that you need to correct. So take care of yourself and then you can take care of other people. It's very important that you stop looking at what's in somebody else's household and what they're not doing. And a lot of times these people, they're not observing the laws themselves. It's not right. I just think we're in a critical time where we need to be more protective of ourselves and others so that we can get past this pandemic and we can get to a place where people say, you know what? At least I understand everyone's trying to exercise safety.
Yes. Well, there's been some incidences where people have actually spoken out against people who have not had their masks on outside in public, and they've led to like some arguments, some scuffles. So my question to you is, Mrs. Tina, is if you are out and you observed several people not doing social distancing and not wearing their masks, would you feel comfortable saying something to them, or would you just try to stay away from them and do what you need to do?
That's a very good question. I'm gonna go off of instinct
Hmm.
because I believe that if you have the correct morals and the character, basically that's something called your personality foundation and
Hmm.
your moral character. So I believe the first intuition is usually the most correct thing to do because we all, even if you were raised by wolves, you know what's right and what's wrong.
Hmm.
Okay, at the end of the day, you know what's right and what's wrong. Or hopefully, you've come past somebody. That's why teachers and educators are important because sometimes the teachers are really the nourishers and the educators of a child and their life and how they will progress. So anyway, to get back to answer your question, I think the first instinctive thing that I would do is, one, we're living in very dangerous times, as when you notice that the issue of Family Dollar, when they shot the security guard in his head because he asked the daughter to put on the mask. So we know how that evolved. She left. There must have been some words exchanged. She came back, and his mortality occurred. This is because somebody decided to say, you know what, I don't like how you spoke to me, or whatever. They decided to do something that's like just petty, or they just took it and then let it escalate to another place, when really the whole definitive matter was, you need to wear your mask.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I can't let you in the store because that's a policy. So I don't understand. Watch where I'm going. What we don't understand here.
Yes.
We're not at Taco Bell, okay? And even at Taco Bell right now, and
You
Burger
got
King, where you can have it your way, you can't have it your way at Burger King now. How about that? There's no more Burger King. This should just be called Burger, because you are no longer the king in Burger King. You're just there for burger. You can't have it your way. So basically, no place is your way now. So he said, please put a mask on, and look what happens. So what I'm saying is, I think I would not respond, because these people right now, a lot of people are really not logical.
Yes.
Like I said, they've mistaken liberty and freedom for self-identity. And that does not mean self-identity.
And a lot of people are also angry and frustrated. So it's misplaced anger. A lot of people don't know how to deal with this self-isolation. So they let their emotions take control, and that can escalate into a deadly situation. So it's knowing how to control yourself as well, because we're all a little bit frustrated.
Absolutely. And another thing is that you have a lot of people that what they do is that they feel like, I keep saying, if they are a asymptomatic person, they feel because it's not affecting them. That's before the pandemic, you have people who work on this philosophy, is that if it doesn't bother me and mine, I don't care about yours. And I think that whole narcissistic, selfish pattern in today's society and now the world is why we're at where we're at. Is that now we're in a place where we are forced to exercise obedience and to listen and obey the laws. And now you see that on a small, minuscule level, there are people that just simply can't put on a mask.
Yes.
And that lets you know the state of what the world is in, that nobody is listening to no one. So let alone the educational system and the teachers, when you tell a student to do something and it's like, I don't have to listen to you. You're not my mom, or, like I could call the cops if you should chastise me, and if you should discipline me. You call the cops and your parents. It's like, I don't have to listen to anyone. So I think that I would not go to them if I saw people without masks. I wouldn't say a word. Me, you can't miss me. I'm very dramatic. So basically, if I saw people without a mask, I would not be next to them, but I would be going.
Yes.
I would tap the mat.
Yes.
I would do eyeballs.
Yes. I think I have my mask here too. It's right here.
Listen, I would, Mr. Woodson, yes, I know that's right. I would stare them down,
Yes.
okay? Because that's what I do with some of the people that I even live around. Like a deer in headlights. And you know what? Let them take it how they want, because this is the world. It's people that are dying every second, minute. This is not, what is wrong? Like I said before, what is wrong? We must get it together as a world. So like I said before, with the nurses and all the healthcare practitioners, we love them, we appreciate them, and we're so honored to have them and what they've done during this pandemic. But keep in mind, there's always a demographic, Mr. Woodson. I tell you all the time that there's always a demographic. There's always a demographic, no matter, even when you have heroism, you also have the town fool. And I believe that in every case. That's why it's important to constantly examine your team. You have to constantly examine any team that you're on. I don't care if it's a team of brooms, sweepers for the park. If
Mm.
one person shows up late, that's going to affect the
Yeah.
whole system, right? So it's no job is too small to say, you know what? I need to examine my team. And I'm telling you, you have to look at your team. You have to look at the intent of your team, because we are so ready to like praise people. It's amazing. The people that should be adored and honored and get praise, we don't praise them. We'll give praise to somebody that we have an intent to get something from, because we go, you know what? This person seemingly might have more connections. They have more things. Right. So what I'm saying is that a lot of the nurses and the doctors that are helping us is that they have to constantly check their team. And if they see there's co-workers outside that they know that are healthcare practitioners that are not exercising it off grounds and off site, get at them. Talk to them about it. Like you have to talk to, like I'm saying, like we have a dance company. We have a fitness. We have the whole Pilates technique that we run workshops and we do master classes and we do certifications. You know, through dance, fitness, ballet. You know, and with that, you have to constantly say, hey, let me see if we need to go over plies this week. Let's go over technique. Let's assess form. You know, you can't just keep going months and months and having people teach your technique and then say, okay, you know, there hasn't been any like assessment of what each person is doing, and are they keeping the format? Are they keeping the technique on its standard? You have to constantly watch that. You know, you have to watch that.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, I love talking to you, Mrs. Tina. We always have great discussions. Like, and then you know what? It's just I feel like I'm sitting across the table, just having a chat with you, and that's the way it should be.
I feel that way too. I'm so.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I am so. Let me sip.
I have my tea too.
Oh yes, I'm on tea.
Yes.
I'm always on tea.
Yes.
What's the tea?
What's the tea?
What's the tea? And make sure when you ask what's the tea, you know that your tea has a pot. See now. Catch that, Woodson. Okay, how you gonna ask about somebody's tea and you don't got a pot to make your own tea?
It's true.
Listen, you guys are getting it. Okay, don't ask about what's the tea on this person and what's going on and what's happening. Do you have a teapot? How does your teapot look? Okay, so this is what I'm saying before we wrap up and get to some things that Beauty in the Spirit we assess each episode. Yes. I'm going to give the floor to you, Mr. Woodson, on your words that you have for us. But I want to just go into the fact that I just believe that this time is a very reflective place. I've always been in reflection, but it's even more meditation and it's more self-observation and self-reflection, because I'm noticing there's people, I've been looking all over Instagram and different social media platforms, and I'm like, okay, everybody's like, okay, I'm on this self-reflection, I'm on this, you know, and I agree, because we're all, our backs are against, you know, the wall. But watch this. When this pandemic should end, to the grace of God, every knee shall bend, by the way.
Yes.
Are you going to go back to your same trifling ways? Or if you don't consider yourself trifling and you haven't had people check you, because all the people around you, they are applauding you because you maybe have done some uncensored act that they subconsciously really wanted to be involved with anyway, for the get down. At the end of the day, are you going to return to those same ways? That's what I constantly ask myself. I'm constantly evolving. It's things and places that I'm like, you could say that you have been in self-reflection from today to tomorrow, Mr. Woodson. And if you are not going to practice it, it shouldn't take you any time during this pandemic to say, you know what? I need to adjust some things in my life. For me, it's getting rid of some people that, well, I've been doing that before the pandemic, but it's getting rid of some people that don't serve, I keep saying, that don't make you better. All they're worried about is you making them better. And then they move to the next vessel that they feel is of more importance. And really the joke is on them, because I feel, especially with technique and dance, everybody's on social media now more than ever. Everybody wants to
One
be a
is,
star.
yes,
Am I right?
yes.
Everybody wants to be a star. And listen, first of all, you have to have the correct thought process before you get any blessings. So you just dismissing people that have helped you and paved the way, and going through different things and training you and stuff. It's something that I'm glad I'm sitting back and I'm watching, because you also see who the opportunists are. You see the people who they have tried to hide things from you that they thought you wouldn't find out about. I mean, this pandemic has really opened up a lot of skeletons in a lot of people's closet. And I just want to say, before I give it to you, is that we all have skeletons, but some of us have bones. Some of us might have a hand, a piece of a hand, but some people have whole full skeletons. Okay. They got the whole museum of natural history up in that damn closet. Trust and believe. Okay. If you open that closet, you have to back up. Ah, okay. You see all types of heads, hands. Listen, nobody's perfect over here, but listen, hopefully you just get a few bones. But these people, a whole skeleton going, you're gonna back up, okay? And I just think that it doesn't bother them that they've been so selfish and narcissistic. And then they get on Trump. Trust me, I'm not gonna go into nothing political up here, but listen, sometimes people in their everyday lives like are trifling.
This is true.
Just as trifling. And they will say, oh, he did this. What all of a sudden makes you some political analyst all of a sudden? The last time I checked, some of the people that have become political analysts, bro, they have not even gone to college. They have high school diplomas.
Mrs. Tina.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, I just think it's fine. Everybody should have a voice. Don't take me the wrong way. It doesn't mean you have to have a lot of education to have a voice. That's totally not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, for you to become so judgmental on every level of politics and what people are doing, you have to really analyze, am I qualified enough in these areas for me to make such statements? And being that I have I don't care how many followers you got. Sometimes your followers are not going to tell you're behind the truth. They're going to sit right there and they're going to geese you up. That's right. I know what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Right. They just looking at you as a guinea pig, because you're out there saying whatever you need to say, because either you need attention or you need people to jump on your bandwagon. And that's what people do. They'll geese you up. And quiet as kept, some people will click in accord. They will click an agreement with you. And if you only saw their faces when they got offline saying, look at this damn fool. She is up there, or he is up there ranting again about something I know he has she has no background on. And that's how people get down. So that's why you have to be very aware of what you're saying. Does it really affect people the way you think it does? Because you and your group of friends and clique think that way? Or is it for the benefit of everybody? Or is it there's some vital truths that go along with what I'm saying?
Yes. Miss Tina, I know we're almost out of time, but we didn't go over our beauty tips for this week. Do you have any beauty tips?
I'll let you start.
Okay.
What's yours this week?
Well, this isn't really beauty, but everybody needs hand sanitizer during this time. And so I could not find any hand sanitizer anywhere, but I found something called Uncle Bud's Hemp. Can you guys see that?
Oh, turn it more. Oh my. Oh, Kika. Oh, yes. Oh, how does it smell?
It's really good. It's made with hemp seed oil, and I ordered it online, and it's the best thing that I use. Whenever I have to go out to go grocery shopping, go to the bank, go to the laundromat, I love it. So that is my tip for this week. What about you?
Wow. Well, I have something. I believe that we're in such disinfecting everything and being on top of our hygiene even more, and just staying away from people, practicing all the guidelines that we need to get through this pandemic. But a lot of people don't realize that not only sleep being great for your immune system.
Mm.
It's how you feel and what puts you to sleep that we also have to take attention to. So
Mm.
for me, I have something called pillow mist, lavender. I love to have the room smell really good when I get ready to go to sleep.
Mm.
Because what it does is it calms my sense of being. It takes my mind to a place because scents and aroma have a lot to do with your mental and emotional being. That's why when we smell something bad, we're like,
Yeah.
so that creates an attitude, it creates a mood. So, on that ending note, I believe that your aromatherapy is going to be very important at this time. A lot of people have humidifiers and things for respiratory, but what we're taking in and the environment around us, as you brought that beautiful candle last episode with
Yes.
the honey and the lavender,
Love. Yep.
I'm taking more attention into my candles, and also, like I said, the aromatherapy for my bedroom when I get ready to go to sleep.
Yes. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams are made of things. Who am I to disagree?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah. So, what we're going to do with this episode is say to you, be strong, stay
Yes.
safe, be empowered, and know that we will be dancing, we will be working out, we will be having our shows, we will be doing, I said, we be. That's right, we be. That's
Baby.
going to be we be. WEBE, period. We will be having a whole gathering as soon as God sees fit for us to be healed. This world needs to be healed. Make sure you're staying in your daily affirmations. And Mr. Woodson,
Yes. Stay
we
encouraged. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back here next week, 5 o'clock for Beauty in the Spirit. Stay
yeah.
safe, guys.
Thank you. Stay safe, guys.